All right, so once again, I'd like to welcome our esteemed guest, Brother Adeel Ibrahim. He is a civil engineer working in Makkah al-Mukarramah in various projects, expanding from going from the Haram Expansion to the train station and various different engineering projects over there, including the Medina expansion as well. And as I mentioned earlier, we've started this new series for our students here, to give them insight with Muslim professionals who are in different fields. And so this is a chance for our students and also some interested parents who might be looking at career changes or just want to listen in to get an idea about Muslims working in different fields and to ask them questions about that. Brother Adeel, welcome to Bayaan Academy's webinar. We appreciate your time.
And thank you very much for giving me the chance for participating in this webinar.
Okay. Now, if you can hold the mic a little bit closer as well, even closer to you, yeah. Now, Brother Adeel, I think we had met in person, I think a couple of years ago when I'd gone for Umrah, and we appreciated the food you brought us and the time we spent at that time. My mother was with us as well, so we're indebted to your khidmah for us. Not only are you servicing the Haram itself, but also those who do ziyarah in the Haram. May Allah reward you immensely for your hospitality at that time. Now, tell us a little bit about yourself, in terms of what made you think about getting into civil engineering. Did you already have that plan since a child when you were young? Tell us a little bit about how you chose this major for yourself.
When I was a student, I was actually good at maths. So ultimately, I opted for engineering subjects. And it was not my plan to become a civil engineer, but civil, mechanical, electrical, any engineering I was willing to do. But luckily, I got admission in a good university in civil engineering. I studied basically in National University of Science and Technology in Pakistan. And after graduating, I came to Saudi Arabia to continue my professional life.
So now let me ask you this. You're from India, Pakistan, and the stereotype is there that you have to be doctor, engineer, or IT. From the India-Pakistan subcontinent. Those are three options you have. Is that the same options your parents gave you, or is that something you chose for yourself?
At that time, I was, there was only three options: engineering, doctors, and computers.
IT, computers.
Yeah, and I got the admission first in the computer hardware engineering. But then I changed my mind and converted into civil engineering.
Inshallah. Now, why civil? I mean, now there are different kinds of engineering fields, and those who are, you said you like math, you're good at math, and that's a very, typical major for someone who's math to go into engineering. There's civil engineering, electrical engineering, mechanical engineering, chemical engineering. There's so many different engineerings. Why did you choose civil engineering as the major? And can you tell us what is a civil engineering major? Like, what does that mean?
Civil engineering, basically, there was too much scope for civil engineering at that time. Civil engineering is actually a very vast field. And then during engineering, we heard that this is the father of engineering, because any infrastructure, any structures, all are made by the civil engineers. And the mechanical and electrical engineering, they help as supportive engineering. But with the time, these fields have been evolved. Sometimes mechanical engineering is going on top due to the industrial revolutions. And sometimes the electrical is going on top due to the electrical system adoption in every field. So and currently, you are knowing that computer fields are going on top. But the basic needs of human beings, infrastructures, the water supply systems, environment, the airports, the railway stations, they all need a civil engineer to design and execute these projects.
So civil engineering has to do with the construction and design and the infrastructure of a country, which is the roads, the buildings, and bridges, and everything that's attached to that in general.
Yeah. If you talk about the types of civil engineering, the civil engineering is then further distributed in many types. The core types are the structure engineering, transportation engineering. And then in transportation, there are further railway system engineering and road highway engineering. And there are the seaports construction. And similarly, when we move on to energy, we can build the we say it water resource engineering, which is dealing with the dams construction, the canals for irrigation, the water supply system which is coming to homes, the waste management system, waste management engineering. So these all are branches of civil engineering. But the basic engineering is civil, and then we specialize in these all branches.
MashaAllah, amazing. You know, I remember many years ago, about 20 years ago, a youth asked me, you know, I want to serve the ummah, you know, and I want to serve the Muslims. I'm not sure how to do it. I'm just a, you know, a guy in college, you know, 20 years old. What can I do? You know, how can I serve the ummah in a way? And he was an engineering major. I said, you're doing engineering. The ummah needs infrastructure. All of our countries need updating of systems. It needs development, you know. So I advised him at that time, you know, to do civil engineering, you know, and pick one of the countries that need assistance. You know, go to some parts of Africa that may not be developed, or go to some parts of, you know, remote areas that are developing. MashaAllah, for you, you went to Makkah and working on an amazing project, and we'll get to that shortly. You know how you got there. We'll get to that in a little bit. So this is a great way for Muslims to be to develop a skill set in college that can directly impact and benefit the ummah. There are many things people can choose, right? There are things through IT, but this is one infrastructure I think that is the heart of it all. You know, so you're in college now. You pick civil engineering. Tell us a little bit about your studies. You know, and that I guess was a 4-year program, the bachelor's in civil engineering. How was it life as a civil engineering student?
Basically, I was in a military college, so the life was very tough.
So explain so I think a lot of the people may not know what a military college is. Tell us how is that different from a regular college?
Yeah, military college is operated by armed forces, and basically in militaries, the civil engineer has a big role in the mines detection systems, in the laying of the bridges during war or during any disaster management systems, during floods, during the earthquakes. They have solutions to quickly build the bridges, the SS roads. So in military, basically they use civil engineering as a separate core. And they have specialized colleges where they train the students to become civil engineer, then go into the army.
So the educational pathway going to a military college, you're saying it's more hands-on, more practical as compared to a regular college where a person does civil engineering. Is that the difference, or?
So basically it is in Pakistan.
Right.
It is a trend to go to military because more established institutes are with the armed forces.
MashaAllah. So you studied, were you living at home or boarding there during that time?
No, I was the boarder, and we were having 4 years complete in the boarding system. We studied as a semester system. After 6 months, we had the break.
So
I remember when I entered the college, we have to pass a saluting test as a military cadet to go for a weekend.
So you were almost like part military in that sense. So you were a student and also being treated like almost part of military.
Part of military.
Interesting. So was it tough? Like, did you have to get up like before Fajr and do running?
Yeah,
You know how?
it was tough for first year, but when we got the juniors, we were on the same track.
Did you ever regret your decision and think about dropping out?
No, when I started my professional life, in the start I was frustrated, but with the time I gained the experience and moved on a track. Then the things opened up. And when
But
I
when
came to Haram project, then I was more
Allah,
convinced.
but while you were a student, you know, did you ever feel at any point that, you know what, this is too much? You know, I think I made a mistake. Maybe I should do IT. You know, life is a little smoother. Did you ever regret that as a student in the military college doing civil engineering?
Uh, in now, in this current year, we can think like this. If I would have done IT or this will be more advantageous. But at that time also, in 2005 or 6, the IT was emerging, not it is not very vast at that time also. It was in America and other developed countries, but not in Pakistan and other third world countries.
Now you bring a very good point. You know, being brought up in the West versus being brought up in the East, that it wasn't an option. Dropping out or changing wasn't an option. Like, you picked a path, you got to finish. You know, you got to march forward. I think in the West we have a lot of options, and we have so many different options that sometimes people get confused. You know what to do. So it's a very interesting cultural difference you mentioned between the East and the West.
Yeah, but what I have learned from my experience is anyone in any degree, either it is civil engineering or mechanical or computer, one must be best in its job. If you get expertise in your job, then at the management level, when you come in 40s or 45s, then you have to become a manager of your specific field.
Yeah. Yeah.
And that is the point which gives your previous experiences, your learning. This gives you the benefit at the end at this stage. But the stage of 20 to 30, this is the learning stage. Even if you are in any field, you must get the expertise, you must get the experience, how to execute, how to execute the projects, run the projects.
That's a very good point you raise, you know, that whatever field you go in, you have to be the best at it. You have to master it. And this is actually, as a Muslim, this is part of our iman. We have to do things with ihsan. We have to do things, to do it's to the best of our abilities to perfection as possible. I remember when I worked in Saudi at the university, and students didn't want to study. And I said, listen, you know, when you go to a mechanic, Saudi, we use the word nus, like 50-50, right? Do you want a mechanic who's 50-50, who's half-baked? They said, do you want a mechanic? No. Do you want a doctor who's half-baked? No. I said, nobody wants somebody who's half-baked in their profession. So when you're here studying, be mia fil mia, be mia, be 100% at it, right? Be really good. Don't be nus. So that was an example. And mashallah, you brought that point. As Muslims, we have to have ihsan and really master whatever field we're doing. And I think this is one thing that I tell my own children as well, that no matter what field you choose, at least in America, if you are good at it, there's a demand for you. If you suck at it, there's no demand for you anywhere. If you're not good at what you do, you're not going to be wanted, whether you're a programmer or anything else of the sort. In the chat, some people are asking, was a military college and this academics harder than a regular college, or was it similar?
It was more disciplined.
More disciplined.
And they made us to learn, and they enforced us to learn the things.
So I don't want to spend too much time on this military difference, but I'm curious to know, like people watching movies and things of the sort, how the life is now. This is in the Pakistani military college. What was your day like? When did you wake up? When did you sleep? How much was it physical training? How much was it academic? Like, what did it look like?
In the start, we have to wake up at 4 o'clock in the morning.
That's your time.
Yeah, Fajr time. Before Fajr. At that time, it was winter. And we have to report to our immediate senior. our group of class of 20 or 25%, we have to arrange ourselves and fall in outside the room of our senior. And whenever he wake up, he has to take us to, he has to check our uniform, he has to check our standing position, posture, everything. It was continuous training by him. And then he took us to the academic college where academic was conducted. And our class started early at 7 p.m. And it was the relief part when we were in our college from 7 a.m. to 1 p.m. And after that, we have to come back to the mess for the lunch. And after a break of 1 hour or 2 hours, we have to go for sports activities. It's from 6 p.m. to 9 p.m. It is a must prep class preparation in which we
Preparation.
have to spend,
Sorry, go ahead.
in which we have to open the lights of our room, open the door, and we must sit on our table and chair to study. And the seniors were monitoring us.
So from 6 to 9 p.m., you would sit in the evening to do your homework or study academic. Were you allowed to get up and move around, or did you just have to just stay in that room only? Like, how much flexibility was there?
Actually, it was 2 hours, 6 to 8 o'clock.
6 to 8, sorry.
Yeah, we studied in our room. And after that, it was dinner time from 8 to 9 o'clock. After 9, it was our own time, and 10 o'clock, the lights were off.
Now, 10 o'clock lights are off. So you wake up at 4 and you go to bed at 10. Sounds like you're only getting about 6 hours of sleep.
Yeah.
Was that enough? Did you ever feel tired? Like 6 hours is pretty grueling.
In the start, it was very tough, but we got used to it.
Now to go back to a very important question about your dinner. Did you ever have biryani on the menu?
The biryani only on Sunday.
Only on Sundays. Okay. So, alhamdulillah. So, and as you study and you graduate, as a student in your 20s, did you ever think you would end up in Makkah as a civil engineer? What were you thinking your scope would be that, okay, after I graduate, what did you think most likely you'd be doing as a job?
Actually, after graduation, I got the invitation from my university to do the Masters in Geotechnical Engineering, which is a branch of civil engineering dealing with the soil and geotech. And it was actually funded by Asian Development Bank, and they wanted 12 students to proceed for masters. But for some reason, I did not proceed for this, and I came into the working environment. I actually straight away came to Saudi Arabia to start my work.
So did you, when you were a student, did you think
that
that was
I did not proceed for masters?
But did you have when you were studying as a student, did you think that, my target is after I graduate, I want to work in Makkah or Medina, or was your target, I'm going to get a job as most people and work in Pakistan and, work on making roads or highways or the, Gwadar port, work on the port systems. What was your, your scope at that time? What did you think you would do?
Yeah, after civil engineering, the most powerful field in the civil engineering is the structure engineering, in which the students have to go and design it. In designing of a project structure, either it is a dam or it is a building, mostly structure engineering are at top in civil engineering. And then the construction execution, construction project management, which is a totally field work. And my ambition was to come in the construction field, because I have heard that on field we learn more than in the room by studying.
So how did you get the job in Saudi Arabia after you graduated? What did you have to do? Did you have to use Wasta or did you apply? How does somebody from Pakistan get a job as an engineer in Saudi? And particularly not just Saudi, because you could have been working in Dammam, Jubail, or Riyadh. You, mashallah, got a place in Makkah.
No, initially I started from a project in Jizan, which is a very remote area. And in start, we were building the power plants, the electric power plants, which are producing the electricity, and then it was distributing this electricity to the general public. So it was a power plant construction and substation construction. So basically, it was a was to get the start because everyone needed an experienced person to deploy on its project.
So those of you who don't know what Wasta is, Wasta means your network connections, right? Your connections. So and a lot of the Asian countries, it's not about just what's on paper, but it's about also who you know, right? I remember when I applied for King Abdulaziz University, I sent my resume in the email, and at the same time, during the same time, I actually went in person interview with him. A few days later, I got email saying, "Sorry, you don't meet our qualification." I was rejected. I went in person. They hired me on the spot, and I got the contract. So a lot of people don't realize that in different cultures and different places, it's a whole different culture, right? So like for me, sending my resume to the to the recruitment team at the King Abdulaziz University, I got rejected. But when I went in person, they like to deal with people. So this is why networks are a big part, and depending on the countries, that you're looking to work with. So for you, from Pakistan to get to Jizan, did you know somebody that was already working here, or just a blind application and you got in to Jizan?
No, I was I came through a reference.
Alhamdulillah.
It was even if I came by a reference, no one trusts you in the field when you are zero. You are starting from zero. You have to prove yourself to make your trust so that people should trust you, that we can rely on this person and he can execute our projects.
Very good point.
So,
Very good point, mashallah. Continue. Yeah.
so starting from zero, we have to show our skills, what we have learned in our college. We have to implement it on the field.
That's a very interesting mindset that I think a lot of our youngsters don't realize. Those who are in college, they want to graduate, get a job, and make money. But you're telling me that when you went there, it wasn't about just getting a paycheck. It was about, I'm going to show you what I can do. I'm going to prove to you that I am competent and capable, and I'm going to go somewhere with this. I think this is a mindset a lot of our youngsters don't have nowadays. They just want to get the degree and be satisfied. And you know what? I'm going to do the minimal that I need to do. I'm not saying all of the students, but I work with a lot of students. A lot of them, it's about graduating and I'm just going to work. But you're saying that you went in with a mission like, no, I'm going to show you my skills. You don't. I'm coming in ground, with zero skill set right now, practical experience, and so wanting to prove yourself I think that's a huge, and wanting to develop that trust, that the employer trusts me and that I can go forward. I think that's a huge difference. I think between those of us growing up in America, inshallah. So you finished and you worked in Jizan. How did you get to the Haram project?
Then when I was in Jizan, I transferred to Siemens company. Siemens company was working on the substation project. Substation project is basically stepping down the electricity, which is high voltage, to the low voltage, so that it can be used in the domestic house. So from Siemens company, I came back to Pakistan, and I got a job offer from Saudi Ojair company, which was building a women university in Riyadh. But somehow it didn't work. And then there was a job selection for Saudi Bin Laden Group in in Saudi Arabia. I went to the interview. They called me for the interview. After the interview, even coming in the Saudi Arabia, I didn't knew have to work in Makkah. And if during my selection in Pakistan, they told me that you have to go in Riyadh. I came to Jeddah because they said you have to come to Jeddah.
Now, you came by yourself or you came with the family? I mean, Saudi has different rules. Like sometimes you can't come with the family, sometimes you can. So were you alone at this time? Were you married or no?
I was married at that time, but the employers do not give the family visas at that time. They only they hire the employer, they hire the employee, and when the employees come here after 3 months, they give this facility.
Okay. So after 3 months, you could bring your family over to Saudi.
Yeah.
All right. So now you're on you're in the Makkah project system. You've went from Jizan down south, working on electric grids for the people there, and then you go to the next project you got from Siemens, and stepping down I guess the voltage you were saying, from commercial use to residential use, and you work on that project, which seems more like electrical engineering than civil, I guess, in some ways, right? But then you eventually make it to Makkah al-Mukarramah project.
Yeah.
Tell us now, what does that look like? I was hoping you would zoom in from the Haram, but I know Haram's internet can be kind of choppy there because a lot of obviously millions of people are there. It can be choppy, but I would love to see you like kind of walk us through your day. So tell us what happens in the Haram project. What does it look like? Walk us through your day over there.
Well, our day started after the Fajr prayer because I was working on site, and the site work is all an engineer on site. The construction engineer has to spend all his day on the site. He is executing the work on site based on the drawings they have been provided. He has to arrange the materials, he has to arrange the manpower, he has to move his team along with him to execute it effectively. So in the start, it was basically managing our teams, the skilled workers, the carpenters, the masons. We used to work with them. And after that, the work was executed at site.
So you start at 4 o'clock at Fajr time, or is it what time is that typically speaking?
It is we prayed at Haram.
MashaAllah.
And then the work was started.
A lot of barakah in that time.
Yeah.
And so, does it change throughout the year? Like, so is it always at Fajr? Just like Fajr could be, let's say, 6 o'clock, could be 5 o'clock. Or is it changing with Fajr, or is it like, no, you have a fixed time on a regular basis?
So basically, it is the usage of daylight because construction work is mostly conducted in daylight effectively. We work in the night shifts, but we have to manage the light system. We have to arrange too much light to be safe. So therefore, we usually work during the daylight. So work for longer hours. And in winter, we have to stop before Maghrib. And there will be shift changes like this.
So typically from Fajr till Maghrib, that's almost a 12-hour day.
But basically, it is not for the case.
Sorry, there's a bit of a lag there. Go ahead.
Yeah. But because this project was a rush project, in the start, it was a rush project and it was very important to execute before Ramadan. We have been, actually any project when it is executed is planned to finalize at a target date. Mostly we got the target that in Ramadan we have to open certain area for prayers, for Hajj, for Umrah. So 20 Ramadan was our cutoff date to finalize any section of the building or something like this.
So typically you start at Fajr, you finish on Maghrib. Seems like a very long day. So in this day, you said you work with the teams, and so what does that look like? And when you say you're working with the teams, is it what does that look like? Are you looking at drawings? Are you looking at video surveillance? Are you looking at what is that? What is that at your particular position there as assistant to the project manager, which is a high level, mashallah, position there? What do you do in the day?
Actually, I started from the site. So basically, any civil engineer, when he is starting the project, he has to manage its site. As a construction engineer, he has to interpret his drawings at site effective. Basically, we have to follow the plans which are provided by the planning engineering department. To construct a building, we have many stages. The structural design stage, and then the planning stage, and then execution stage.
Mhm.
So we were joining at the execution stage. The designer teams have separate systems. They design the drawings, they design the structure values, structure calculations, that the building is safe. And then there is a material department, there is procurement department, there's quality control department. They all work together to execute something which is on the drawing.
How many people are working in the Haram? I mean, I guess there's cleaners, but in terms of the engineering and the laborers that are doing the construction work, any given day, approximately how many people are there working on the expansion?
Well, at the peak of the extension project, we have 150,000 workers
Total,
for Haram building.
mashallah. And on nowadays in the normal system, like in these days,
Nowadays there will be 40,000-50,000 lights
for every day?
For every day, for
And
2 shifts.
2 shifts. Okay, I was going to ask how many shifts are. Wow,
But
mashallah.
basically the project is so big that everything cannot be conducted on the site itself.
Mhm.
For example, in the building we have the main thing is the steel work, the beams, the columns, the steel works. These all things are conducted at a remote area outside the site area. For example, in Jeddah we have 3 factories only for precast system. In Rosaifa near Haram, we have stockyard area, and this is very massive. We have thousands of people there working off-site. They fabricate off-site products, then they bring through logistic system by trucks, by trailers, and then it is deployed at site. So
Got it.
there are many teams involved in this.
Got it. So when you say the 40,000-50,000, are they this includes the off-site engineers as well working on the Haram project, or is this only the on-site?
Yeah, off-site.
Okay.
Off-site also.
Mashallah, mashallah. So how long have you been working in this Haram project now? I mean, or in Makkah? How many years has it been?
It has been 13 years now.
Oh, mashallah.
So
Mashallah.
when I came, it was in the foundations. Basically, the Haram project is, there are multiple projects. Before it was extension of Shamia Haram from Bab Fatah to Bab al Umrah and backwards. And then in 2012, they initiated the Mataf expansion also. Dismantled the Mataf, the previous mosque, and then rebuild it in phases.
Now I'm astonished because you said there's about 43,000 workers. And there are a lot of people working, but it seems that the progress has slowed down quite a bit in the last three years. It's been moving, seems to be moving very, very slow. I remember when Malik Abdulaziz was alive and I was there at that time, and you saw how things were just going very rapidly, very quickly. And in fact, there used to be a signboard saying, 360 days till completion. This was probably in 2009. I think there's a signboard there. When you go down, Ibrahim Khalil Road, the highway, and you see the sign on the top right near, I think, what is now one of the, the clock towers, not the clock tower itself, but one of the buildings before it. And it was posted there, how many days of completion. And you saw a lot of work being done. It seems like before COVID even, I would say, it seems like it slowed down quite a bit. What's the reason for, the progress to slow down so much?
Basically, the projects are run by the finance flow. If the finance flow is smooth, the projects, because there is massive amount of money required to execute such projects, where we have a high quality of materials, high quality of things we are using on the site. That's why the finance flow is very important. So when we started the project, we were working even in 3 shifts. And as I told you, that there is planning department giving us the targets. For example, Ramadan target, we have to finalize some section. Then they increase the manpower, they increase the incentives, they increase the. So there are many ways to execute to take the work from the workers.
Mashallah.
Currently the flow of finance is a little delayed. That's why it is not executed.
You made a very good point here that in the Haram, they're using high quality material. That's actually a very good point that a lot of us we forget, because if you're just constructing a building or some kind of infrastructure, you can have some unrefined kinds of materials being used. But in Makkah al-Mukarramah, they're using, I guess, marble or granite and ornate. How beautiful a lot of the things are. So it's high quality products, and I'm sure with the COVID, that may have caused a constriction of the supply line. I'm guessing COVID may have affected how easily you can get materials, and of course, things have gone up. But that's a very interesting point you raised, that alhamdulillah in Makkah they are using high quality things there. So.
Well, basically the stoppage was due to some political reasons, but we should not discuss it here.
No, of course not. No. We like you in the Haram, alhamdulillah, So, but no, I mean
that's why I said.
Got it.
That's why I said it is finance.
Finance, got it. Yeah, I know. Okay, there's some changes in construction companies as well in between, I believe, as well. They changed vendors and things of that sort. So I think that could certainly have affected the growth of the project. Do we have an idea? When I was there, a year and a half ago, Baba Abdul Aziz, you had told me that's the main project they're working to sort out and finish. Do we have an idea when this current scope of work will be finished in the Haram? Like, when will they finish that?
Now we have target to finish it in 2025 end.
Mashallah. Is that a moving target, or is that a soft date? Or
no, it's a committed date.
Allahu Akbar. Mashallah. Then let me switch gears a little bit to Medina. Are you involved in the Medina project as well, the expansion of the Haram in Medina Munawwara?
Yeah, Medina also we initiated initially. Medina project was a very big project. And, if you have ever gone to Medina, you have seen the Markaziyah, first ring road. It was mostly, the new extension was covering all this area. The left side of Masjid Nabi, the right side, and the back side from Bab al Fahad till the first ring road. It was, the gate of the Masjid Nabi was at first ring road.
Mashallah. That's massive.
It was almost massive. It was a masjid. Then utilities and services we have to expand further.
So that's almost tripling, I think, the size of the Haram of the Masjid Nabawi, almost.
Yeah. Almost 3 to 5 times.
Mashallah. Okay. So those you've been to. Sorry, go ahead. Yeah.
Yeah, we started execution on if you have gone to behind the Jannatul Baqi side.
Mm-hmm.
The work was started, the excavation was done, foundations, utilities, and we casted the prayer areas, but then the work stopped, and now they are completing it, but only this section. The remaining area is currently on hold.
Okay, it's on hold because?
the same financial issues.
Got it. Got it. Now, I heard that they want to expand Jannat al-Baqi, Baqi, the graveyard. Is that also true that they're going to expand it so that so that more people can be included?
Well, I have no information. The only
Okay.
information I had that we have to build the fence for it.
Okay. MashaAllah. So that gives you the hudud, the boundaries. Great.
Yeah.
Do you enjoy working, in this field? Do you feel like the work is hard? Do you feel it's, a blessing? I mean, of course, I know you feel it's a blessing working in such a blessed place and sadaqah jariyah for you. But do you feel ever the word is like too difficult or is too challenging?
When I came on this project, my manager, he told me this is a prestigious project. Actually, he was talking to someone else, but I got his point that this is a prestigious project.
Mhm.
And this means to me, my family, very much.
MashaAllah.
So that's why we work devotedly.
May Allah SWT accept it from you, make it a means of immense barakah for you and your family, and mashallah, it's a blessed place to be. And along that, we have one of the questions. Somebody's asking that if you're a civil engineer, let's say you do civil engineering in America, how could they get a job in the Haram? Working at the Haram.
Basically, you have to coordinate with the companies working on the Haram project to get a job at Haram. But still, it is not sure that they will deploy you at Haram project or they have any other projects which they are interested in, because companies work on the financial and trade basis.
Mhm.
They mostly don't care for the Haram or other things.
It's about, so when you say financial basis in terms of like affordability, they're looking at when they hire.
Because the survival of company is basically on the commercial profits, commercial gains he can get from an employee.
So right now, sorry, go ahead. Yeah.
So if a company hires a person, it is not sure that he will place the company will place the person on the Haram project or in its other projects which are at priority.
Got it.
Like I was working on Haram, but when the priorities change, they transferred us to the railway station, they transfer us to the airport project. Whatever is the priority of company, we have to move along.
Mhm. So that's a good point. So a lot of us think that at least with the Haram project, people are hired directly by the Saudi government. So what you're saying is that when you're hired, you're actually hired through a contracting company. So there's a company that does, for example, a company in Saudi that does construction work. So and they give that, and so Saudi Arabia gives that construction contract to this construction company, and the construction company is the one that hires the engineers. Is that how it works over there? So you're not hired directly to the government, but rather through a private company, essentially.
No, Saudi government system is separate. For example, the Haram presidency is working for the is hiring the person at the Haram maintenance, and still they have made a contract to the before it was Bin Laden, and currently it is another company, Al Majal, which is a facility management company. Cleaning work or this work. The Riyasa, the presidency is looking for this. But the other projects which are under construction, these are contractors like Saudi Bin Laden and Saudi Bin Laden subsidiaries. And when the Saudi Bin Laden will hand over this project to Riyasa, to government, then one can go in Riyasa. But Riyasa usually hire the Saudi as it is a government entity.
Got it. All right, brother Adeel, Jazakallah khair for the time. We're going to open it up for the next 10 minutes for question and answer. So there are some of the questions I asked as they're coming and relevant in our conversation. So Ibrahim has had his hand up for a while. I'm going to unmute the mic and I'm going to let people talk in directly if they want now. So Brother Ibrahim, go ahead. The floor is yours. While Ibrahim is unmuting his mic, I have a question for you from Brother Muhammad. He said, Jazakallah khair, Brother Adeel, for your time. I have a question. How come there are no wudu area or restrooms upstairs in the tawaf area? Like somebody breaks their wudu, it'll be convenient for them to just go and refresh their wudu. So the question is, how come there's no wudu areas upstairs in the tawaf area?
I did not understand.
The question is that in the upstairs masjid where there's doing tawaf outside, upstairs, how come there's no place to make wudu? If you break your wudu, can you just refresh your wudu? Because otherwise you have to exit the whole, masjid and come back in.
Because in the masjid it is not allowed to make an ablution area, so we must go outside to make the wudu. Before it was in King Fahd extension areas, there was wudu, not the wuzu area. It was drinking fountains the people used to make the wuzu. But currently the wuzu area is in the basement.
Okay. They have wudu
only the wuzu area.
Okay. So no bathrooms, of course. In the masjid, bathroom would be incorrect, but they have wudu area in the basement of the haram.
Wudu area in the basement.
I think the question is because sometimes it gets so busy to exit, go downstairs, take the escalator to come back up. It can be challenging. It's just a logistical thing. I think it's a suggestion more than a question. Another question. Somebody said, "How can I get a job in Saudi Arabia? Do you have any recommendations where to go and where to look?"
Well, currently the shift of economy, the shift of the projects is basically at the Neom side, Riyadh. If I'm talking even based on construction works and the infrastructure works, and mostly in Jeddah, they have to build a new city as they have already dismantled. If you have visited King Abdulaziz University, they have cleared all the slums around it.
Right.
And they are starting rebuilding it.
But they started rebuilding around in Jeddah.
Yeah, already the works have started.
Wow, mashallah.
And daily they are announcing new projects.
Mashallah. Okay. May Allah give them more himma and strength.
In Medina, there are big projects like Ruwa Al Medina, which is a real estate development for construction of hotels. But before they have to make the infrastructure underground, and it is at initial stage.
So in terms of somebody trying to find a job, I mean, what, like, for example, monstergulf.com or Indeed or these other, what's the best place for them to look for jobs in the Middle East? Let's say they're from the civil engineering background. For example, I know when I was looking for a job at that time in 2008-9, one of the common jobs was an English teacher, right? And so there's a website called Dave's ESL Cafe. Everyone used that globally. Dave's ESL Cafe was a place everyone would go to. It doesn't sound like a very professional website, but it's a forum. And if you want to teach in China, you want to teach in Korea, teach in Saudi Arabia, Qatar, Kuwait, you want to teach English, you go to Dave's ESL Cafe. For engineering, I mean, is there a website that you recommend or a recruitment site that they can go to?
Yeah, mostly the companies are consulting the consultant HR groups. There are HR consultancy companies which are hiring for the bigger posts, bigger companies. And they are, because they have to, and they take some percentage for your as a fees, and they make the links with the bigger company. And now currently it is the LinkedIn, which is mostly in. The thing is that we have to directly approach the company.
Okay. So you're saying LinkedIn is a good place to look,
Yeah.
Okay.
But the thing is that we have to know that what are the companies working, what are companies getting the new projects and the scale of their projects, so that we can share our Cs with them. For example, currently uh, the big companies in construction, the we say at Big Six, Watson, AECOM, or Jacobs, WSP, they all are hiring and they prefer Western degree.
Really? But the
Yeah.
Western people are more expensive. Yeah. MashaAllah. Sister Henna has a question. Sister Henna is saying that have you ever witnessed something in the Haram or in Makkah, Medina that was just really amazing, that really moved you or thrilled you? Have you witnessed something so amazing out there?
By amazing, you mean some miracle or something like this?
It's an open-ended question. Anything that you found, just was like, subhanallah. A subhanallah moment. Let's take it down from miracle. Miracle's even greater, but we'll settle for a subhanallah moment.
Well, whenever I go to Umrah or Tawaf, it is a subhanallah moment.
Allah Akbar. Allah Akbar. Do you ever tell your family, like, you see this, this and the Safa Marwa thing you're walking on? My team and I put this over here in this place. Do you ever point things out like that, or no, to your family? Or when people come, or you see this wing of the Haram, I was directly involved in this project.
Yeah, this conversation I do with my children.
MashaAllah, MashaAllah.
Or when my father was alive, he usually discussed with his friends. Anyone who is coming to Makkah, he was saying, "My son is there. Meet him," like this. So it gave me big pleasure.
Allah yarhamu. Allah yarhamu. Okay, somebody's asking that I would like to move to Jeddah, Makkah, Medina. Is there any way that a general contractor could move over there to have that kind of skill set as a general contractor from USA? And this is a sister asking this question, I believe. So,
general contractor?
Yeah, a female, a sister who's a general contractor.
Like you want to take the contracts and
I think they want to work, in terms of like perhaps supervision. And the reason I mentioned it's interesting because she's a sister, because in the past this was purely a male-dominated field. All the engineers, project, all were male. Now the Haram has opened up, and there's, I think, female. Also, no, actually, let me ask you this question: are there female workers there, or project managers in the Haram nowadays?
Our designers on the staff project, we have 2 designers who are female, and they are appointed at Haram project.
Okay. But no women are doing construction currently, right? Actual construction labor work?
No.
But
in the design field, working as a structural designer.
Are there female supervisors, do you know of, in any of these places, like they're supervising, the expansion projects, either in Makkah or Medina or in Jeddah, for example?
Not in my knowledge, but mostly the female civil engineering candidates are working in the planning field and structure. The mostly office job, not on the field, because the conditions here are very tough. Due to environmental high temperatures and like this.
And I think also for Muslims, I think there's it's a sensitive topic, but at least when you're working inside the Haram of the masjid, there are fiqh issues related, to women being inside the masjid as well, so that I can see that can also be a hindrance, because sometimes people quickly say, oh, it's, they're discriminating against women, and sometimes you have to realize that it's not always that. There are actually logistical things. This is why women can't be imam, in Salah, right? So similarly, I think it makes sense that perhaps when it's a project inside the masjid, that the person be a male, not because of discrimination. Like you mentioned, women are working on the project, but in different capacity,
Yeah.
All right, somebody asked this very important question. This is not for me, because I know I asked the biryani question. This is about food. They said, do you have to bring your own food, or do they bring you food over there? How does it work? Because I think this person probably went for Umrah and saw how packed it is, at the restaurants and stuff. So they're worried about your health. How do you eat over there?
how we eat, we usually have the facility of drivers
Okay.
or who bring us the food.
Okay. So the government arranges, I mean, your contractors, the company arranges for you to have food, or you pack lunch from home?
No, on our own. So we mostly bring it from our home.
Okay. Okay. Got it. All right. What else? Any other questions here? All right. I think we asked the food question. Somebody's asking, I don't, do you know Brother Wael Al-Kurdi? I don't know who this person is. Have you heard of this name before?
While could be, I've heard his tilawat.
Oh, mashallah. Mashallah. Okay. So Ibrahim has asked this question 3 times in the chat, so I wanted to make sure that it gets answered. He's saying, I think apparently he's in the Haram this year. So, mashallah.
No, mostly the Saudis are.
So when you're,
Saudis are,
sorry, go ahead.
mostly the Saudis are Imam of Haram.
One of the questions somebody asked is that, what's the biggest challenge you faced in your position over there? The biggest challenge?
The biggest challenge which came when the work completely stopped on Haram. And still we have very limited resources, and we have to manage the work on site, because there was a time in 2017 2018 that even we don't have the office and we don't have the workers to execute the work. So in case there is some emergency or critical thing happening, we by ourselves doing this work, or arranging something from outside, but we have limited finance, limited payments available to give to people. So this was a very tough period, very challenging period, and we survived this time almost 1.5 years without salaries, without, but we stayed there.
SubhanAllah, so you didn't get paid for 1.5 years and you didn't quit and look somewhere else? How did you survive, and what made you stay there?
Actually, I didn't wanted to leave this project. Basically, our company was having other projects like airport or railway station, but when I went there, after 2 or 3 months, I have to come back to Haram project, because some things in these projects are very critical, which everyone doesn't know, and some people in the project are very critical. So if we are going on other projects, still we are working on this project. If we are working on airport projects in Jeddah, we are still answerable for the questions here.
So
Haram project.
So let me. So during this time, I'm still trying to get my head around this. You didn't get paid for 1.5 years. Did you eventually get that pay, or was this unpaid time for that 1.5 years that you were waiting?
No, we got the pay.
Okay.
We got the pay, but there was period that people were weeping, literally.
SubhanAllah.
And many people quit. I told you that there are 150,000 people working, and then it reduces to only 5,000, 6,000 person in 2017.
SubhanAllah.
So we started looking on the projects outside Haram.
That's almost more than 90% reduction.
For the survival, we have to look the projects outside Haram. We have to bring the projects to company for survival. The small projects.
Yeah, you have to do what you got to do at the time being. But Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala rewarded you with your patience, mashallah, and you're still there and still working. Somebody asked, Brother Umar asked, is that, have you had a chance to go inside the Kaaba? have you had that opportunity yet to go inside the Kaaba?
I was in search of opportunity. It was in 2018 when when the Kaaba, inside of Kaaba, it was opened for the repair works. And on the roof, we made the new tiles. But unfortunately, I was unable to go inside. It actually need a lot of references.
Subhanallah. I heard there's a time where they open it up regularly, like once a month. There's a certain time, they open it up. Is that true? That and people can go inside, or no? It's only when they have dignitaries and special people.
No, they open for dignitary special people, mostly head of the state or something.
One of my friends actually reached out to me. I was in Jeddah. He goes that Samar, I got a special invitation to go inside the Kaaba at the specific time after Fajr sometime. If you want to come, you can join me to enter the Kaaba. And I said, brother, if I was doing tawaf and the door of the Kaaba was open, I wouldn't have the courage to go inside there. I'm just grateful that Allah subhanahu allows me to do tawaf around this blessed house. Do not have the courage to step foot inside the Kaaba. And like, what do you mean? And I guess everyone's kayfiyat is different. I'm like, nah, I can't go inside. But I had the opportunity when I was there. I think it was maybe 2016. So, mashallah. Brother Adeel, I want to say, Jazakallah khair for your time. I think we've answered most of the questions that people had. If you feel comfortable, some people are asking for your email address. You can, if you want, you can send it to me. We can email it out, or if you want to make a new email address, because we don't want people contacting you because you can't find a hotel because it's busy. So, but no, mashallah, the session was very, very beneficial, and we appreciated your time with us. I know it's kind of like, what time is it out there right now in Makkah?
It's 10 o'clock, 10:15.
Okay. It's not too late. Not too late. This would be your bedtime in military college.
Yeah.
Are you still following the same routine from military college?
Well, it made us very tough exercises they gave to us, because construction field is a very tough field.
Hmm.
And standing in high temperatures, working, this is very tough. I actually, by age, I shifted to the office work mostly. And not continuously, I'm standing on the side or standing in workers.
Right. No, so it's interesting. You can always transition from one field to the other. So you want to do this side, you want to be hands-on, and as you're saying, getting older, you move to the office work. I think even the teaching field is the same thing. When we're younger, we have energy. We're in the classroom teaching. As we get older, we also go into the office. Called administration. Office administration, and we're out of the field of the classroom and into the administration side of things. So I think every field has that. MashaAllah. Illa mashallah, some people just love being in the classroom, and no matter how old they are. In fact, when I was teaching public school, we had a 80-year-old teacher, and he just liked to be in the classroom. He didn't want to transition, So, mashallah, brother, jazakallah khair for your time. May Allah reward you and your family. May Allah put immense barakah in your wealth and your health. And any closing remarks for us, or any nasiha for us? Because right now you're live from Makkah al-Mukarramah, so you're in this blessed place. So any nasiha for us?
Jazakallah khair, Brother Sumer, to you also, and all of the participants who are listening, hearing me. My advice is that everyone has come in this world for a purpose. And if we are making this Haram extension or this building, this is only because of that Kaaba. All the other constructions, all the other works, these are temporary. The Kaaba, initially it was Kaaba. People came here in this city in Makkah due to this Kaaba. So the core thing, the main thing is Kaaba and Ibadah. And this world has to finish. And we must keep our main ambition that we have to live a second. We have to go in the other stage of our life where we are answerable for this life questions. So we must stick to our Sunnah, Prophet Muhammad ﷺ teachings. Be a good Muslim.
Jazakallah khair, Brother Adeel, for your nasiha. Please make dua for Bayaan Academy, for our teachers, for our students, for our families, everyone that's present here, because you're in that blessed place. So please do make dua for us. We appreciate that, you know.